All right, so I'm sitting here with my friend John Abbott of Abeja Winery. Thanks for stopping in this
My
morning.
pleasure.
Yeah, I was just, I tasted that, your '09 Chardonnay. It was delicious, and it begged the question for how you felt about the '09 vintage. So I thought I'd just ask you about that a little bit.
The '09 vintage was like most of the odd vintages, like '05 and '07. It was a good vintage. I mean, we ended with a frost, which is a little bit unusual for us, but the frost came right before Halloween. So for the most part, everything was in the door. So the structure of the wine is very, very similar to '05 and '07 in that they're a little bit more powerful, a little bit more dark fruit than red fruit in the wine as well. Very happy with it.
I noticed that this particular Chardonnay, to talk about the white just for a second.
Right.
This one seems a little bit more like a Merceau or something than maybe past vintages of your Chardonnay, which seem to have a little bit, be a little bit more unctuous, a little bit more weight.
Right.
This was really just a little bit lighter, in body.
Right.
Beautiful flavor. Is that something you were shooting for?
Oh, definitely. Our goal, and thank you. I mean, when we look at it in the winery, we try, if there's a target for what we're trying to do, it's Merceau. Now, granted, Washington State Merceau, they're not going to be the same, but that's what we're looking at.
Oh.
And what we've done differently with the Chardonnay is we've backed down a little bit more in new wood. We're down to 40% new and 60% 1- and 2-year-old, and we're starting to use more larger size Cooper barrels, so 400-liter barrels instead of 229-liter barrels. So those are 92-gallon barrels versus 60-gallon barrels, so like a barrel and a half. So stave thickness is a little bit thicker, so less translocation through the wood, and also we're seeing that there's less surface area. Obviously, it's that touches, so the wood integrates a little bit slower, and that's what we like. And actually, this is the style that we're trying to make, and it's been a goal. I think the '09 is the best one we've made to date, and a lot of it had to do with kind of the growing season we had, of course, but I think we're finally figuring out how to dial things in as well. The key vineyard in that is Celilo, which is located across from Hood River, Oregon, on the Washington side of the Columbia River, and this one has the most Celilo of any of them we've ever done, which this one has 58%. So we've been able to garner a bit more of the acreage of the old Wente block, the 8-acre block from Celilo, and that's helping make this style of wine.
Well, spot on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's really great. I really enjoyed that a lot. So, so the bee. Why did you? How did you end up with Abeja the bee?
Abeja is Spanish for bee, and we chose the name because I came from the corporate wine world, and my partner Ken Harrison came from the corporate energy world. And when we formed the partnership with Ginger and Molly, we all wanted to give back to the land, give back to the employees. And so bees don't pollinate grapes per se, but they pollinate all the beneficial plants that allow us to farm softly, to take better care of the workers in the vineyards, to minimize the amount of impact that we have on the property, and hopefully making better wine. And we chose the Spanish pronunciation to give thanks to the Latino workforce. That's so vital in the agricultural world and really in the restaurant world.
Yeah, I noticed that you've got a very strong commitment to that. I was reading some of your literature earlier.
Yeah, all of our estate fruit, which is 50% of what we grow, is all live certified and salmon safe. And I firmly believe in it. I can't tell you it makes better wine, but I think it does, and we're going to continue going down the road of trying to get more of the long-term acreage fruit that we're working with to farm the same way we're trying to farm.
Well, the result is certainly coming through in the wines. I mean, whether or not that style of farming creates better grapes and subsequently better wine or not. I've been enjoying your wine. Actually, I think since your first release. I think when you had your first release, you came to my old location,
right,
and we showed just the first 2 wines that you had at that. And at that point, I think it was just Chardonnay and Cabernet Sauvignon.
That's correct.
And you've added Syrah, had some nice success with that, had some great accolades.
The Syrah, when we purchased the property, the Syrah and another Rhone variety, Viognier, were planted on the property. So we have 3.5 acres of Syrah, and so we've been gradually using more of that fruit for ourselves. In the beginning, we were selling it to other people. The focus of what we do is Cabernet, and we don't want to muddy the water with that. But yeah, we've the estate Syrah has been doing really well for us as it's finally getting some age. It was planted in 2000, so it's finally now starting to grow up. So, but yeah, this is really the main lineup for us. A little bit of Merlot that we bring out in the fall. When we can, we have a reserve Cabernet, which is always 100% Cab. We won't have one in '08. Maybe we'll have one in 2009. I'm still working on that to figure how that's all going to play out. So, but yeah, this is the majority of the lineup is right here.
Excellent.
And I really appreciate all the support over the years. It's been great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, it's part of what we do with our shop. We recognize that it's about people as much as it's about wine, because that's really the fun of wine, is sharing with people.
Right.
So when I have really interesting wineries, great wines, nice people, it makes it easy for me to want to support it, and I think that my customers appreciate that too.
Right.
That we get behind things that we really like. I really like your wine, so it's easy.
Well, and we put a lot of heart and soul into these, and so for us, when we let them go, it's kind of like puppies. We want them to go to the better homes and the cooler places. So we appreciate that.
Oh, thanks. Great. Well, you know what? I really would like to try that the Cabernet Sauvignon. So let's wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.